So I think home ownership is such a wonderful goal for most Americans. In fact, we actually call it the American dream.
Of course.
But we of course we talk to a lot of people, and it feels like that there's a segment of people that we talk to. They're always chasing homeownership. They're chasing the American dream, and it
It's
seems
somewhere
to
out there in the future that
yeah, and it seems to be outpacing them primarily because of interest rates, because of home appreciation. A house that cost $200,000 5 years ago costs $400,000 today, and it just feels like, and sometimes we'll have multiple conversations over a long period of time about them trying to buy, and it's just like I can't quite achieve it. And so we want to talk about in this video about what are some of the ways, what are some of the scenarios where people are not able to achieve, or they're just not achieving that dream of owning a home. And we kind of broke it down into basically three scenarios. So the first scenario would be, people that they have very high standards about the home they want, or they're afraid to pull the trigger. Like, these people are qualified, but for whatever reason, I actually have a client I've been working with for 4 years, and it's just like they just can't quite seem to get over the hump and actually purchase a home.
Yeah, I think we both have had clients over the years that were just, I mean, sometimes I talk about we're in a long-term relationship uh, because it's like we're friends, we talk periodically, but it feels like it's going nowhere. Um, for whatever reason, lots of people back when interest rates were great, they just put in offers and withdrew, put in offers and withdrew. And so, for some people that may come down to just an overarching fear of pulling the trigger and making this decision. I mean, it is a very large purchase. It can be a scary decision. And so sometimes people shy away from that. Just, I guess they psych themselves out and get in their own head.
Yeah.
Um,
And that just, if it's more of a personal reason, because we can qualify you, we can say, yes, you're qualified to buy a home. But then,
but they don't believe us.
but they don't believe us. But then they're just hesitant. And so to that group of people, I mean, I think you just got to work through whatever your hesitancy is.
Go to therapy.
Potentially commitment issues.
Yes.
and if it is your goal to own a home, if that's your vision, that's your goal, then you maybe have some personal things you got to work through to get to the point where you can actually achieve it, because you have missed out potentially on hundreds of thousands of dollars in home appreciation, and you are now chasing that home ownership as the prices go up.
And also it could be like chasing perfection. I want the perfect home. I want a home that has a laundry room that's large enough for this, that, and the other.
Well, we certainly had a tiny laundry room.
But, we've lived in several homes over the years, and I can say none of them have been perfect.
Yeah.
And so, just coming to terms with what are the non-negotiables, and then having some grace on the other things can help you get over the hump of actually, getting into a home, especially if you're qualified.
Yeah. So the second group of people I'm thinking about when it comes to this idea of like chasing home ownership, and you just can't seem to, I almost think about like that dog chasing the car, and they just can't seem to quite get there. The second group of people would be people who are qualified. I mean, they have enough income to make a purchase, but frankly, they've just been irresponsible with their finances.
Yeah, we may have a conversation with somebody over the phone, and we're talking through income, and I go, "Great, you make great money.
Maybe you're making a six-figure income."
Yeah, they're doing fabulous, and I'm thinking, "All right, this is somebody that I can help." And then as we go through the process, and I get this, sinking feeling when we pull credit, and I go, "Oh, you've got so much debt." You've really dug a hole for yourself, or you make great money, but you have nothing saved up. And, these tend to be just problems of your own making. You've gotten in your own way. You could have qualified. You really should be able to qualify for a home, but there are things that you've opened the door to, to loose spending or just not being wise with your money.
Yeah, and these are the people that like the Dave Ramsey Gazelle-like intensity, where people can oftentimes find Dave Ramsey and they're like, I have got to get my act together because I have plenty of income. I've just not been responsible with it. I'll add too that I think some people, there are life circumstances,
Yeah, definitely.
a medical issue, a divorce, things that happen in life, a job loss that have caused hiccups along the way. Or maybe poor decisions when you were young. I talk to people, they're 30 years old, and like, I made some really stupid decisions when I was
we all?
20 years old. I ended up with tons of student loans or whatever, or I didn't pay my bills when I was younger, and now you're having to kind of dig out of it. So to this segment of people who are chasing home ownership, it's more of a matter of just getting getting your act together and starting to be more responsible with your finances so that you can own a home. You don't have to perhaps rent forever.
The good news for this category of people is there is a path. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's making your money work for you and really having a vision for home ownership that compels you to move forward and take care of some of the things that are in the way.
Yeah. So the third group of people that I think about that are chasing home ownership is probably going to be the toughest group. And we talk to a lot of these folks, and that is people that I guess the best way of saying is they have low income. Maybe they're doing a great job. They love their job, but maybe they're just not making, $15, $20 an hour at the job they have. And given where home prices are today, it's literally feels impossible to qualify, because you're saying how you could, they say I can afford $1,000 payment, and you say, well, that's $125,000 loan, and there's literally nothing on the market under $250,000, and this is the hardest category, I think. Of course, it typically it's like an onion that pulls back the layers, where it's like, okay, well, because I don't have much income, I've got a car payment, I don't have any money for down payment, I've run up some debt, missed some bills, so it kind of just unfolds from there. Now, what advice do we give someone in this situation?
Yeah, whenever I talk to somebody in this category, my heart's full of compassion. I know yours is too, just because it's like, how do you just sit with someone in this difficult place, give them the best advice you can, and but also know that the way things are currently structured, it just isn't going to work. So the advice, you've got to give is to be creative, to be inventive, and figure out a way to make more money. Now, that may come from taking on a side hustle, taking on a second job, or getting other skills so that you are more employable to actually get a higher paying job.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a tougher conversation, because it's a more long-term conversation to say we've got to make some fundamental changes in just kind of how your life is structured.
Exactly. And I always start when we're talking about the income piece, and I just say, I know you're doing the best you can.
Right.
I genuinely believe that. But I think if you want to own a home, and you're chasing it, and you've been chasing it for years, like you said, you may have to rethink, is there other things I can do educationally without running up a lot of student loan debt to make myself more valuable, either at my current job? I think some people do get stuck in a certain job, and they maybe need to take on a new job. And then I think the one thing that you can control potentially is taking on a second job to help
Nobody
your
wants
income.
to hear that.
Nobody wants to hear that, but I think there are a segment of people that need that second job. Fortunately, we live in a time where there's a ton of gig work.
Jobs, yeah.
I've heard people even at our company who are driving Lyft and Uber on the weekends to make some extra money, and so now the thing is, typically with a part-time job, you have to have that job for 2 years before we can count that income. So this is a long play. And like I said, there's no easy solutions. If you want to own a home and your income is too low to purchase a home in the area you want to live in, a part-time job may be the best thing you can do, and you may have to take a 2-year view of that. And if you work that job for 2 years, we can now add that to your income. Of course, that also helps with all sorts of other things because you can save more money, you can pay off debt, improve your credit scores. It does.
Yeah, as we've said, income changes everything.
Income changes everything. And so, again, the first two group of people I think we're talking about are just more decisions that they can make
Right.
a little more easy. I need to be more responsible with my money. Maybe I need to be less picky, less fearful. This
We can
third
be
group,
like financial counselors in those two situations to be able to, just come alongside people, give them peace of mind, and give them encouragement in their current situation.
yeah.
The third category, we've got to sometimes give that tough love to say, you got to make some different decisions.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, the title of this is Chasing Homeownership, and I think that most people can catch it eventually, but there's decisions that have to be made to make it happen. We're always here to have a conversation with you if you're looking to, purchase a home. We're happy to have a conversation if you're 2 years away. We're here to advise you, and we're here for the long term. So, in a relationship. And so always happy to have a conversation with you and help you create a plan to not just chase homeownership, but to actually catch it
To set you up to win.
and to own a home, which is, of course, as we say, the American dream. I still believe that's the American dream.